Welcome, No DQ Galaxy, to another episode of What's NXT. I am, of course, the Wizard of No DQ, Stephen Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good evening, wrestling fans.
And we are here to cover NXT for December 5th, 2018. And we start off this show right to a match.
Right into one.
We've got Matt Riddle versus, I believe, a debuting Punishment Martinez.
Yes, it was his debut match.
It was his debut.
Yes.
I really wasn't sure what to expect out of Martinez, but I don't know about his entrance music, I don't really remember it, but his entrance Titantron was fucking wicked as shit, man.
It was.
Oh, man, it was like this weird 3D view that, turns into a shape, if you turn it or whatever, and it turns into a fucking skull. And, it's so wicked looking.
Yeah.
I recommend finding a GIF or a picture or just watch the show or watch the YouTube clip and watch his entrance because that is really cool looking. So I didn't know what to expect out of him, but I was actually kind of impressed.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think about this match?
Well, I actually liked it a lot because, whereas the other Matt Riddle matches we've seen have been pretty well one-sided, Martinez got a lot of punishment in. He got a lot of great kicks and a lot of great strikes in, and especially in particular a cyclone kick that that got me just exclaiming wow, because he nailed Riddle with it hard, and it was a vicious one. And then also this straight up vicious clothesline, a standing clothesline he did, just knocked the wind right out of Riddle. And
yeah, it was pretty brutal looking.
But it was good to actually see Matt Riddle actually take some punishment and come back from it. So that it actually entertained me a lot more than the matches I've already seen him in. Granted, one of them only lasted 6 seconds.
What I liked about this match was, and the choice of opponents, is the fact that Martinez is a striker, much like Matt Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be, I don't know if he's MMA, but he seems to be at least boxing or some sort of Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, something. He's a striker, much like Matt Riddle.
He was karate. His dad actually faced off against Chuck Norris and actually beat him back in the 80s.
I believe they mentioned that.
Yeah.
It was some sort of exhibition match, and apparently his father beat Chuck Norris.
That's not something you can brag about, on a daily basis.
Man, if it's true, you totally could brag about it. I would carry proof on my phone. I would have the VHS tape turn digital and then digital copy it to my phone.
Beta to VHS.
Yeah,
But yeah, then imagine it with the bro mission, which I knew was going to happen. But that was what, after Matt Riddle nailed a whole bunch of strikes onto Martinez with the elbow strikes thing that I'm used to seeing out of Daniel Bryan. And then we also had some slaps because Martinez almost got out of the bro mission, and he got repeated slaps to the chest just to throw him off guard so you can lock it in and just have him tap out.
Now, I like the bro mission for what it is.
Yeah.
It's a variation of a seated or an abdominal stretch on the mat.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like it as a finishing move.
I don't either. It actually looks like it'd be more like a pin than anything else. But
you could probably cradle it into a pin, but I don't like it as a finisher. I think the fact that he's a striker and his finisher is a submission move doesn't really go with what I see him do in the ring, It's like that's almost the first submission that he puts on as his finisher.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of the match, he's beating the shit out of it. And don't get me wrong, man. Especially now I understand why he goes without the boots. Because when he lands some kicks, even to the face,
yeah,
you can hear them. And they may hurt as little as humanly possible, but I bet they still fucking hurt.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see him with a finisher that is some sort of strike, a variation of a strike, something. Man, because later on we get to see Aleister Black with the black mask, and I'm like, now that's a striking finisher.
Yeah. But as Matt Riddle celebrates and is leaving the ring.
Oh no.
Oh no. Actually, your exact words were, uh-oh. And I was like,
So he's Matt Riddle's on the ramp and he's facing the ring and he's celebrating and here comes Cassius Ohno from behind. As soon as Matt Riddle turns around and gets that it's not a run. He does a discus forearm.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for, discus. There's too many terms in wrestling. This is getting tiring.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's it. He didn't beat him down anymore. Just a discus clothesline knocked him off the ramp halfway up. Like,
knocked him senseless is what it did, but
yeah, it wasn't even that brutal.
It was more or less a cheap shot for one, but at the same time, that's Cassius Ohno.
It's what we talked about several episodes ago. It was after the bell.
Yeah.
So there's no in between the bell here where you're a superstar and you're out there like in a video game and you can take all this damage. But once the match is over and you're in between or outside of the bells,
yeah,
then you're vulnerable. And, single punches will do incredible damage. So, that's all we get of it. And then they just cut to, what do they cut to next? A video package.
Yep. Everybody gets a video package.
We haven't had a lot of video packages in the last few weeks. And I've felt kind of grateful for that. But at the same time, NXT is incredibly good at video packages.
Their video quality is good. The music choice is always awesome. And the clips that they always end up picking out are always top notch.
Well, spoiler alert, they came back in this episode with a motherfucking vengeance.
Yes, they did.
This episode, we had 3 matches. I think a perfect episode of NXT is 4 matches.
Yeah.
But the main event ends up being, promo, in-ring promo. So it's kind of like match, segment, whatever. So we had 4 big segments, but for me, a perfect NXT is 4 matches. And I think they could have squeezed another match in here. And amongst all of these fucking promos and video packages and interviews.
But as you and I established before we started recording this episode is more or less starting our road to the next takeover.
Yeah.
So we're naturally going to get a whole bunch of updates on the wrestlers that took part in the last takeover to see how they're doing or what they're going to be doing next. But then also gave us some insight on who's going to be the next contenders for certain belts, or who's going to be...
Or how it's going to be determined, or stuff like that. So they have to squeeze as many storylines as possible into this episode, because this starts the road to, like you said, the next takeover. And that should be right before Royal Rumble in January. I think it's late January.
I think it's Phoenix.
Yeah, NXT TakeOver Phoenix. So, up after this promo, well, it's not a promo, it's a video package for Ricochet, we get an interview promo. It's outside, it's out back, he's standing by a semi-rig, and they're
looking very dapper in a suit.
And, he's talking face promo. But then, basically, what you get out of this is at the end of it, he says he's about to go talk to Regal about who he's going to face next for the North American Championship. And then we find out later that this is going to happen next week.
Yeah. He pretty much said he's going to go to William Regal and just issue an open challenge or open contract to whoever wants to face him. And obviously somebody signed it because we're getting that match next week.
So now we get a video package for Heavy Machinery. Starts off, they're in a gym working out, and they're all about eating steaks and lifting weights and
getting the shape they need to be a tag team champions.
Yeah, basically they are ready to challenge for the tag team championships, and personally I think they should have been in the mix a long time ago. But you actually have quite a few good tag teams in NXT, so everybody gets their turn, and hopefully next is Heavy Machinery's turn, because we do hear about it again later. But we'll get to that, because we have another video package. This was basically a recap of an NXT house show.
Yep.
And Bianca Belair won a match. I couldn't tell who she was versing. I have no idea who she beat. But this was a qualifying match. She's been entered into a 4-woman fatal 4-way match to determine the next contender for Shayna Baszler's NXT Women's Championship.
Yeah. So, we're going to get that match in 3 weeks, the Fatal 4-Way.
I believe so, yeah, in 3 weeks' time.
In 3 weeks. So, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be getting the other 3 matches for the other 3 contender spots.
Now, we talked about this right before the video. Who would you like to see as the other three participants in that match?
Well, naturally, Lacey Evans.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Lacey Evans has to be in there because her squaring off against Bianca Belair at any point of that match is going to be awesome.
1-for-1, I totally agree.
Yeah. Candice LeRae.
Absolutely, Candice LeRae, 2-for-2, I agree.
And I'm still stuck on the fourth one. Like,
well, who's the third one?
Well.
Oh well, yeah, Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
So I think it should be Io Shirai. And we'll get into this later, but it basically looks like Io Shirai is being groomed as the next contender for the championship, and it would make sense to put her in the Fatal 4-Way so that she gets the shot. I think she should pin Candice LeRae. It further devolves Candice LeRae's character to catch the loss, and this pushes her towards heel, as opposed to just making her a heel because her husband's a heel, and that totally makes sense, right?
Yeah, well, the only other person I would really want to see in that match, I'm not even sure if she's still in NXT or not.
Nikki Cross. I was going to say her, but it looks like they're grooming Io Shirai to be the next contender. And we don't get to that till later.
Like I said, Nikki Cross and Bianca Belair, they still have unfinished business, I think. And it only seems appropriate there should be a bookend to that before she goes up to SmackDown or Raw.
Yeah, I was hoping for that too, but you kept fighting me on it. You wanted to see the match with Candice LeRae, which we did get to see.
Yes.
And that was great, but now we still have the feud with Bianca Belair hanging over. You know, who would win? Her or Nikki Cross? Neither one of them seems to be able to pull out a win against the other.
There's no finality to it in any way, shape, or form. So that's why I would say if Bianca Belair was going to get defeated ever in a match, it'd probably be this Fatal 4-Way.
Well, I don't agree. I think Candice LeRae should take the pinfall. But up next, we finally have another match. We have a tag team match.
Yep.
And first we get the combined entrance to whomever's music of Humberto Carrillo and Raul Mendoza. Now, they're coming out, and I'm like, so who do you think it's going to be? You think it's going to be the Forgotten Sons because we haven't seen them in a while, or who do you think it's going to be? And apparently these guys are baby faces, so who could it be? They don't have too many heel tag teams.
It's like it was either going to be the Forgotten Sons or it was going to be the Mighty.
Yeah, the Mighty TM61.
Yeah.
Because the only other one you have is Undisputed Era, but they're the champs. You're not going to see them just out there for no reason against jobbers. And it turned out they were jobbers. Because it was, in fact, the Forgotten Sons. And we have another episode of NXT with Jackson Riker sitting on the outside during a tag team match with his brothers. Mm-hmm. And he's not doing anything for them.
He does absolutely nothing in this match. He is just there more or less for decoration, it seems. There's no interference from him in any way, shape, or form. There's no... You don't really even pay... There's really nothing going on with him outside the ring. The cameras don't go over to him at all. He's just there. He's just there.
Our guess is he might be injured, and they're not saying anything because it's not too bad, but it's something that they're just not making him be physical. And he's got Cutler and he's got Blake to do the in-ring work as tag team. So he gets to play manager role, I guess, for a while. Although I think most managers get more involved than he's gotten.
I was about to say they at least would distract the referee, or maybe do some taunting to one of the opponents on the outside of the ring or something, just cause some sort of distraction.
Well, in this case, they did not need his help. This was a tough match for us because it was harder to tell the difference between Cutler and Blake because Cutler did not have the face mask on this week.
Thankfully, they had their names written on the side of their tights.
So if they were standing in the right direction and you could see their left hip, then we could tell who it was. Otherwise, we're getting there, folks. We're getting there. We're starting to remember who these people are. I remember back when I couldn't remember Bianca Belair's name. Yeah. And now it just comes to me naturally. So I'm happy about some of the progress. But in this case, yeah, it was difficult. And I even had a spot where I had to cross out Carrillo and Mendoza and switch them back because I thought one was the other. And you were like, no, it's the other way around. I'm like, damn it. So.
But Humberto, he just impressed the crap out of
Oh,
me.
he was fucking awesome.
Yeah, like if these two are enhancement talents, there's like two of the best enhancement talents you could actually find.
Yeah, they need to be called up to 205 Live stat
Yes.
because they are great. Um, they are actually the first note I made. Like I was just watching this match and kind of enjoying it, but then they pulled off this move that was one of those. We were trying to name it the other day, and we still don't have a good name for this. But it's like he's holding and his partner Carrillo's up in. Let's see. Okay, Carrillo's up in a wheelbarrow position, like he's going to do a victory roll.
No, Mendoza was.
Okay,
Carrillo.
again, so I've got it backwards. And then Mendoza does the victory roll, but instead of rolling him up, he plants him in a face buster,
Yeah.
I guess. And but it's on top of Cutler, I think.
It was Cutler, yeah.
I'm just gonna throw a name out there so I don't have to look at my notes again.
It was Forgotten Son.
Yeah, it was one of the Forgotten Sons.
Yeah.
It was wicked looking. I thought that was cool as shit.
It's like we had to rewind it, we had to pause it, we had to watch it again to just try to even remotely name this move. That's when you know something is innovative, when you have to kind of go back and be like, what the hell was that? And sure enough, that I think that was like pretty much the move of the night, in my opinion. But
Well, we see a lot of high-flying moves. We saw a springboard elbow that I really enjoyed because of the wind-up he put into that elbow before he hit him.
he caught Mad Air on that and that drop kick. The drop kick off the top rope to Cutler.
It wasn't a springboard. It was a handspring elbow.
Yeah, it was a handspring
We've
elbow.
seen a lot of those lately, just out of the blue.
Yeah.
But that was a great one. He just puts this wind-up into his elbow and...
Oh, yeah. And then out of Humberto Carrillo also is when we saw that drop kick on the Cutler. I mean, he just got...
top rope missile drop kick, and
Yes.
he goes up. He goes super high.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen anybody do a drop kick and get that much air. But he comes off of that with a wind up into the missile drop kick,
Yeah.
and it just looks incredible.
He got about as much air on this drop kick as Kenny Dykstra used to get with the Spirit Squad on his leg drop. He got some serious air on almost Rob
yeah, I
Van
remember
Dam-ish. And which was cool because like it was Rob Van Dam like height, but then he also Rob Van Dam like move, but almost what looked like a reverse rolling thunder.
Well, I've got one more note for Carrillo.
Yeah.
He does this. I call it a reverse rolling thunder.
Yeah.
It's literally a rolling thunder, but he does it backwards. So he does a backwards roll into a standing moonsault. And he got a near fall because that probably would have been a 3 count if, I guess, Blake
Yeah.
came in and broke up the pin. So they were dominating in a face fashion up until this point with some great spectacular moves. But then one too many high risk maneuvers. Cutler counters Mendoza's suicide dive and just he goes to plant him into the outside, but he kind of just lets him fall.
Yeah.
And it didn't look terribly bad, but good enough to keep him out of the match for the rest of the match. Because Blake attacks Carrillo. He's going back in the ring because he just kicked Cutler in the face. One of those apron punts.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does this springboard pedigree is the best way to put it. So Carrillo's going back into the ring, and he's got one leg in, one leg on the ropes. And Cutler jumps... Or no, Blake. Blake. I'm sorry. I'm getting the names mixed up, and I know I'm looking at my notes too much, but I'm trying here, folks. So Blake springs off of the middle rope and comes down with a pedigree. Like, he doesn't grab his arms or anything, but he comes down with a pedigree.
Yeah.
A draping pedigree. And I thought that was really cool looking. I thought that should have ended the match.
I was about to say that could have very well ended the match, but he picks him up and
he takes him to the corner. He gets the tag, and they do this assisted, tag team move.
Scorpion death drop and almost like a stomp to the midsection.
Yeah, I think he comes off the middle rope and stomps on the midsection and into a reverse DDT, and there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And the Forgotten Sons have yet another win. I wonder when they're going to be. Well, I guess it's going to take a set of tag team that's face to win the championships from the Undisputed Era before we see another heel tag team go for the belts.
pretty much at this point.
So here's hoping the machines.
Oh, heavy machinery.
Yeah. Here's hoping heavy machinery can take the belts off the Undisputed Era.
Heavy machinery versus pretty much any team. I think I would
Forgotten
enjoy.
Sons,
But Forgotten Sons, that would be a pretty good match. I think.
Maybe by then you would actually see Jackson Riker get into the match and do something.
Do you think they'd actually institute the Freebird rule with the belts once they got them, or would it actually just be Cutler and
I suppose it depends on if you want to put Jackson Riker into the mix for like the North American Championship or even the NXT Championship. But I don't know if I'd see him for the NXT Championship at this point.
That would be cool for them to hold both those belts, or at least
But I guess
one of them.
Adam Cole did it. I mean,
Yeah.
he vied for he was the North American champion and still helped defend the titles when they needed him. So I guess it could be done, sure, if you really needed to.
There's always that element of surprise that they can pull on their opponents, which I think is still kind of unfair, but at the same time, it actually is better for us as a viewing audience.
Well, I like
to not know who we're gonna actually.
I like
get.
the Freebird rules a hell of a lot better than the Lucha House Party rules.
Yeah.
So I'm good with that. So next we get an interview with the Velveteen Dream.
Yep.
And you think you're getting an interview, but no, wait.
No.
What does he do? Snap his fingers?
Oh, he basically tells her, hold on a second, because this doesn't feel right. Snaps his fingers, backlight turns purple, music starts playing, and then he says, and go.
Yeah. Now you can ask your question.
Yes.
And she wants to know what's next for Velveteen Dream, because you just had a shot at the top prize, the NXT Championship, at TakeOver, and you failed.
Yes.
So now where do you go?
But he goes on saying everybody's talking about him now. The fans are talking about him. The back locker room's talking about him. Triple H is talking about him. So yes, what's next? And
look, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot Velveteen Dream was a thing, until he showed up, and I was like, oh yeah, we could see him on the show. Like between TakeOver and now, I wasn't thinking about Velveteen Dream.
Well, I actually mentioned him the other day to you. I was like, I'm not sure where they're gonna go with him at this point after his loss to Ciampa. And since Lars Sullivan's getting called up, we won't see another match between those two.
Well, this was a perfect interview for you then, because that's the question she asked. What's next? It's only a shame that he fucking didn't answer.
Oh, because frankly, I think he's overconfident and he doesn't even know what's next for Velveteen Dream.
All he knows is it's not her.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Kathy Kelly or whoever it was interviewing him. She was not next.
Yeah.
He's leaving.
Yep.
And he left. And
he didn't answer any questions. He just bragged on himself.
He hyped himself a little.
Pretty much said dream over.
And then took a hike.
Yep.
It's the good old hype and hike.
Yep.
So next we get a promo of the Undisputed Era in the back of a box truck.
An undisclosed area.
Clearly the back of a box truck, probably out in the fucking parking lot.
Even then Adam Cole's asking, we've checked this thing, right? We're not going to get, there's no way of anybody getting behind us this time. Probably in reference to the War Raiders last time, sneaking up and pulling them out of nowhere.
Yeah, pulling them through the curtain.
Yeah. So, no more curtains for the Undisputed Era.
So, Fish talks about EC3, and then the rest of them talk. Broderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly talk about, and this is where we get back to.
They mentioned how there's no
tag.
They mentioned there's no tag team that can even measure up to them at this point, and Heavy Machinery is actually mentioned by name. So we know that's fresh on our minds, and that's what we're probably going to end up getting, is Heavy Machinery versus the Undisputed Era.
Yeah, it's a good bet that's where they're going with this. So I'm game. I want to see that match.
Oh yeah,
And
that'd be fantastic.
like I said, I'd actually like to see Heavy Machinery take the championships.
I,
They've been
I,
around a while. I think they deserve it.
I think that match is gonna be high on charisma is what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an.
Dozovich alone, man.
That's gonna be an awesome,
Good
awesome.
grief.
Like
He is one charismatic fuck.
him and Kyle O'Reilly in that ring are gonna be just nuts. I think so. Yeah, I'm excited for that match when it does actually go down, which I can see it going down either probably in 3 weeks when we're getting everything else at this point.
It seems like we're gonna get a really good episode in about 3 weeks.
Oh my god,
time.
3 weeks away.
So next we get kind of a video package. It's an update on the War Raiders. I mean, it's got all the symptoms of a video package, but
yeah,
essentially they're here to tell us that Hansen has broken ribs, a ruptured spleen, and torn ligaments.
And he did all this in his match with the
at War Games.
War Games. And even more kudos towards him because he was already my MVP in that match. He pulled so many crazy spots in that match and was just all over the place. And
he's the one that inspired everybody to do that handspring elbow again.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened there, I think.
If he can do it, we can do it. That's pretty much what they're thinking.
If he can do it, we can do it, and we can do it better. And
granted, we know he's not watching, but get well, Sue Hansen. We want you back in the ring.
So next we get, come to find out, is the last match of the night, the main event match. If it was the main event, it's not really the main event. The main event's going to be the promo.
Yeah.
And we will treat it as such, and we will rate it. But this is Dakota Kai versus Shayna Baszler. And Dakota Kai comes out alone, which I did not expect. I expected to see Kairi Sane and Io Shirai with her, but they were not. And so we were wondering if Baszler would come out likewise and be alone. And at first it looked as so.
Yeah.
Looked like she was going to do it herself, and I'm sitting here like, well, the last time she beat Kairi Sane, she did it by herself.
You mean Dakota Kai?
Or yeah, sorry, Dakota Kai.
Mm-hmm.
The last time she beat Dakota Kai, she did it by herself.
Yes.
So why not this time? But no, in a pretty cool style. She had Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir, come out one to each side, from each side of the Titantron, which you mentioned first was cool looking, and I'm like, yeah.
Well, you had Let's Fight and Let's Play on like either side of her, and that just looked awesome.
So this match was pretty good.
Yeah, for like a non-title women's match, it was good. It pretty much. It was everything I was expecting it to be. He had Shayna Baszler going for a lot of submissions, and he had Dakota Kai kicking the crap out of her almost the entire match.
Well, Shayna's going for those joints. She's going after the left arm of Dakota Kai.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it right sooner or later.
Just start saying Kai, dude. Just say
so,
Kai.
She goes for that Baszler stomp on the elbow, and Kai gets out of the way. And I think she goes for a roll-up, but she gets a 1 count at that.
Yeah.
But what I like was when she started getting pumped up, and she goes for that face wash in the corner, and she gets the first one, but then Baszler kind of rolls into the caddy corner.
Yeah.
And she goes for another one, and Baszler ends up blocking it, and she gets her with this knee.
Yeah.
Like she does a knee into the corner, but then she comes back and does this running knee that we have deemed the European knee cut. The knee cut.
You got her right under the chin.
Imagine a European uppercut by
Claudio
Cesaro
or Claudio Castagnoli. I still call him that, but yeah, Cesaro.
Antonio. For those of you who have forgotten, there's a name I remember. Antonio Cesaro. Imagine one of his uppercuts, but with the knee. Yeah. Like she caught her in the chin.
Yeah.
You could catch that.
Yeah,
she caught her in the chin.
You saw it, and it was
man.
It was just.
I'm surprised she didn't crack a tooth.
Yeah.
But Dakota Kai, she goes for that coup de grace.
Yeah.
And
the Kai de grace.
No, an actual coup de grace off the corner.
Oh, that's right.
Off the top rope. She gets a near fall, but she goes for another, and Baszler counters her. She comes into the corner, and she gets her with this gut wrench suplex off the top rope.
Yeah.
That was just wicked.
Mm-hmm. Like, they both landed hard with that one, but naturally, Kai took most of the damage, so.
Now the finish sees Dakota Kai going for. It looked like she was going for a chiropractor, but Baszler was set up a little weird. But it didn't matter because Baszler kind of shifted out of the way, and she ends up grabbing her in the Kirakuda clutch,
Yeah.
and it's over. Like she locks it in. I don't think Dakota Kai even really made it towards the ropes.
No, she inched for like maybe a second, but then she was out.
Yeah, she passed out. I don't even think she tapped. I think the ref just had to call it.
The referee just called for the bell.
So this is a win for Baszler, and as it turns out, she didn't even need Jessamine Duke or Marina Shafir out there.
That was a testament to her at this point. The fact that she at least beat Dakota Kai.
Well, I told you at the end, I'm like, of course, because she beat Dakota Kai the first time by herself. There's no reason to tell the story that she's gotten worse, and now she needs the help.
I think that's the reason why they probably made the match non-title in the first place, was to like give people hope that maybe Dakota Kai would pull off the victory. So.
Well, I think the only reason that we had Duke and Shafir out there was for the post-match beatdown.
Yes.
The inevitable 3-on-1 on Dakota Kai. But lo and behold, Io Shirai comes out by herself. And I was expecting at least Kairi Sane to come out first, then Io Shirai. You know, have the 3-on-2 beatdown, and then finally 3-on-3, and then the faces pull it off and they're standing tall.
But the problem is with that is this program's probably been pushed off because Kairi Sane is out with foot and mouth disease. I think.
I did not know that, and I wish I'd have known that going. Well, actually, no. I'm glad that I was surprised that she didn't come out. And in this case, Io Shirai basically fended off all three of them by herself.
Yep. She was diagnosed with about a week ago, and she's going to be out for a little bit while she recovers from that. So.
I guess it's good they got the title off of her when they did.
Mm-hmm.
So that ends the last match of the night, and right before the main event, we get first a video package for Dijakovic. Dijakovic?
Yeah.
Dijakoff. Dijakoff. He's coming, and I'm guessing he's going to be a heel by his promo in the video package, but
yeah,
we'll see. I guess he's some big guy in an MMA fighting style, so should be fun to watch. I don't think I remember. I know I've seen matches with Donovan Dijak, but I don't really remember him. So hopefully they've put together a package for his character that is entertaining and engrossing. That's my hope, at least, with these video packages. Because, I mean, we got some really good video packages on NXT UK for Eddie Dennis. And so far, you know, he's lived up to all of it.
But, like, Eddie Dennis, with us, he was telling a story. Like, that's the thing. Each part was a different part of the story.
True.
Or just him being repeating stuff and getting
But so far, the
more
matches that we've seen him in, and I think we've seen him in 3 matches so far.
Yeah.
None of them have told that story or followed up on that story. So
no.
But he has still lived up to what I was expecting out of those video packages. So hopefully that's what we get with this new character rebuild of Dijakoff.
Yeah.
So right before the main event, next week, we are going... This is telling you everything to expect for next week. I'm sure there'll be another match or two. But we are going to have EC3 versus Bobby Fish.
Yep.
So we're going to get the conclusion, hopefully, to that so that they can move on. And we are also going to get the aforementioned North American Championship match against a, who knows, contender.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Oh, God. Ask me that again when we get to the end of the main event.
Okay.
I don't want any more dead air while I think about it, because that's a loaded question.
Yes.
So, Keith Lee. So, Tommaso Ciampa comes out with his new and improved music with the flat line there at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. And he just, Tommaso Ciampa promos it.
Tells the crowd they don't believe in him. Starts pointing at individual people saying, you don't believe in me, you don't believe in me, you don't believe in me.
Points at grandma. None of the grandmas that NXT
none of the grandmas
in full sale like Tommaso Ciampa.
They do not approve of Ciampa.
Didn't he rip up one of their signs?
Yes.
So Ciampa inevitably gets interrupted. And our question going into this is, who is going to be the next contender? And it seems pretty obvious, but you could make arguments against it. But we won't hold you in suspense. First to interrupt, and I say first, but Aleister Black. And I'm all for it. I love an Aleister Black entrance. Got the full entrance with all the fog and the smog and him lifting up and looking all fucking scary as shit. Fucking Aleister Black. And this is the obvious choice. He lost the match against Ciampa on NXT for the championship and never got a rematch because the rematch was supposed to be the triple threat that he never made it to because he got attacked, because he got crotched at a house show and had to sit out for a while. So, obvious choice, but we get a swerve here. Because he comes out to, he doesn't really call it his rematch or his contractually obligated rematch. He just says he's challenging.
Yeah.
Is the way he put it. And I'm like, yeah, it's a legit challenge though. You know, he's got all the claim in the world to that rematch, so it's a legit challenge. But now we have the next interrupter. That's Johnny Gargano,
who still has his face actually intact from TakeOver War Games. So
yeah, and he's still got his babyface music, which I'm not a fan of, but whatever.
Well, I like the fact that he even came out because he pretty much says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." It's like like we have some unfinished business.
Now at that point, right there, unfinished business. I thought he was going after Ciampa and the NXT Championship.
Yeah.
Because this sounds like the heel move. I lost my match at TakeOver, but I'm still going to come out and challenge for the NXT Championship. But no, Johnny Gargano's fucking nuts. He has got Tommaso Ciampa and the NXT Championship in one picture in the ring right there. And his focus is on Aleister Black.
The man who absolved him of his sins.
He lost that match. Time to move on, right? No. He is not done with Aleister Black.
He has something to prove with Black at this point. Initially, it was just to get Black out of the way because Black was collateral damage, more or less. Just finish him off, get him out of the way, go journey back on with my destiny of getting the title off of Ciampa. But no, he didn't finish the deal with Black, so now he feels he needs to. So, but we have Ciampa, like, in between these two, pretty much playing devil's advocate, I guess.
Oh yeah, we get a stare down between Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black, but outside on the apron on the ring, you've got Ciampa just staring on. He's peanut gallery, man. He's right there watching. This is entertainment for him.
Yeah, well, it was entertainment for me too. Even Ciampa had to say what was on my mind, which is like. It's like, look at you coming out here and you're not even Johnny Wrestling anymore. You're Johnny Badass.
Which, of course, gets the Full Sail crowd chanting, Johnny Badass. And I'm all for that nickname because they can actually say it and it sounds kind of, edgy.
It's
badass.
Catchy. It's catchy.
And it's catchy and the crowd can chant it and it's got the same cadence as Johnny Wrestling, so there you go.
Yeah.
I would prefer Johnny Evil. To me, once he's made his full transformation into a full-fledged heel, then I would say Johnny Evil sounds way cooler. But that's for another episode. This devolves a little bit, but not so much, because basically Johnny is just tearing into Aleister Black, and Ciampa suggests that the best way to do this is a match between the two in a steel cage.
Yes, because he said he saw them beat the crap out of each other at TakeOver, but the only thing that was missing was the cage that they used in the main event. So he even says, I want to see this. The crowd wants to see this.
And Johnny's got to play onto the crowd because he's still kind of a face.
Yep.
And of course the crowd wants to see it, so Johnny's into it. And,
because Johnny didn't do anything wrong.
Well, he goes to challenge Aleister, and Aleister's like, I will fight you anywhere. He said, I will fight you out in the parking lot. And Gargano's quick to this. He says, oh, how'd that work out for you last time? That was my favorite line of the night.
That was just brilliant the way it was laid out. So,
but we essentially get the answer. I mean, this is eventually going to be a match. It doesn't get sanctioned. We don't get a date for this, but all parties have agreed, much to the delight of Tommaso Ciampa, who's on the outside just smiling. It's probably the first time I've seen a genuine smile out of Tommaso Ciampa on NXT in a while.
Yep.
But Aleister Black goes for a black mask on Johnny Gargano, who ducks.
Yeah.
He rolls out of the ring. Not this time, sir. He even does the Scott Hall fingers.
Yep.
Ooh, at him. And this makes Ciampa even happier, man. He's out there laughing. Well, he doesn't duck the black mask coming to him. Aleister Black hits him out of nowhere, and he goes down. Stays on the apron, but goes down hard, and that was fun. I like that. And Aleister Black stands tall, and that ends NXT. And that ends our main event.
Yep.
So, as per usual, here on What's NXT, we rate the main event, and we rate it based off the General's 5-star rating system. And the General here is Jerry Slaughter.
Yep.
So, Mr. Slaughter, what do you rate this main event?
Okay, well, I'd give it a 4. Because, like, I knew we were going to get either Alistair or Gargano out to interrupt Ciampa. I wasn't expecting them both. And I wasn't expecting to get a follow-up to that insane, what I consider match of the year between them at NXT TakeOver War Games. So, but what really sold me on this was Ciampa's reactions on the outside of the ring, watching these two just bicker like children over who gets to pretty much face him. And he knew he had him right in the palm of his hand, and all he had to do was just play it right, and that they would just annihilate each other.
Well, we never got an actual answer to who is going to face Ciampa for the NXT Championship.
And now we know, like, if anything, that could end up being the number one contenders match for his belt.
I really hope it is, but we still don't get an answer out of this segment. So I this whole segment started off basically right down and this is probably the first time I've seen Ciampa do a promo where it's just like, meh, it's a Ciampa promo.
Yeah.
What saved this for me wasn't even Aleister Black and his awesome entrance. What saved this for me was Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
Because I thought this was leading to the NXT Championship match between Ciampa and Black.
Yes.
No, Swerve.
Yep.
This is leading to a second match between Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black. This time in a cage.
Which almost sounds even better, I think, than a championship match at this point.
I still don't think this was a 4-star great anything. But because of that swerve, I'll go close. I'm going to give this 3 3/4.
Yeah.
Because this was fun. This was a much better ending than any one of the 3 matches would have been.
Yeah.
Even the Dakota Kai Shayna Baszler match, as good as it was.
That couldn't have ended the night, and that's why I said like the Ciampa had to be at the end there. But
laid out, Black standing tall.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've got your 3 biggest names probably right now in NXT.
Yes.
In Black, Gargano, and Ciampa. The NXT champion, Ciampa.
So
I'll give it 3 3/4. And I guess that is that.
Yep.
So I want to thank everybody for joining us for What's NXT for December 5th. And I'd like to invite you to join us next week for the next episode. But please also please also join us tomorrow for a spot of NXT. I guess it's going to go up on Friday. On Fridays, we'll have our NXT UK review. We call the NXT party. And we like to have guests. It'll be on a different TV, but we'll put you right here in the middle. If you'd like to join us for an NXT UK review, just get a hold of me. You can find me on Twitter. Just go to nodq.com/Stefan, Stefan. Or if you just want to look at me up on Twitter, you can go at Stefan R. Osborne, Osborne. You can find this gentleman on Twitter as well.
No DQ General. And also, I'm also have a group on Facebook called Armbar. That's all capital letters, ARMBAR, exclamation point. And you can find us on there. And That's all my plugging.
So, if you can find us on social media, send me a message, send him a message if you'd like to be on NXT UK review. That's our NXT party. That'll be up tomorrow. Please join us for that. Right now it's 2 episodes. It is a long show, I know. Usually ends up being well over an hour, but we are reviewing 2 episodes of NXT UK, and that's 30 to 45 minutes apiece. So I do apologize for length. But thanks for joining us, and again, I am the Wizard of No DQ, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General, Jerry Slaughter. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you NXT time.